Hey everybody, Something Gadget Guy here, and we are finally taking a look at our first Android Wear device, the Asus ZenWatch. So before we jump into the review, I just have to send out a word of warning to any of my subscribers, any of my followers, people watching this video, that if you're in a committed relationship with someone, say you've been dating someone for a really long time, or if you're married to them and you set out rules for a holiday, say Christmas for example, that you are going to set a spending threshold that we should not cross over, chances are pretty good that one of you in that relationship is going to break that spending threshold. So to my lovely Marie, who I bought a really nice pair of pajamas for this year, she got me an Asus ZenWatch for Christmas. Now this was actually a revenge purchase on her part, as I got her a really nice watch for our anniversary when we said that we wouldn't get any gifts because we were traveling. So my comeuppance was one of the most stylish smartwatches on the market today. And of course, we do not do unboxings, because we want to talk about the watch. And smartwatches are always a little difficult to show off on video without my hands blocking it or without it permanently attached to my wrist. But this is the Asus ZenWatch, currently available on Google Play for $199. And the second I took it out of the box, I was smitten. I'd already seen pictures and videos, other people posting their reviews of this watch, and this is right up my alley. A nice, clean, rectangular watch face, very organic lines, a nice curved screen piece right here. It is outfitted with Gorilla Glass 3, and it's another step in the right direction for smartwatches, as it doesn't look like some geeky science fair project or the modern day equivalent of some kind of calculator watch. Just to do a couple quick size comparisons, here's the Asus ZenWatch next to a Samsung Gear 2, and a little profile view right there. And the ZenWatch next to my OG plastic Pebble. Again, just to tilt to the side right there. The ZenWatch next to one of the first watches I ever reviewed, the Martian Passport. I'll also be reviewing the newer Martian Notifier soon, but you can get a quick preview of what this watch is going to look like next to the ZenWatch. And lastly, one of my all-time favorite smartwatches, the Qualcomm Talk. You can see the watch face screens next to each other, and then just a quick profile look. This two-plate metal solution with a little rose gold in the middle is an attractive way to show off a rectangular watch face. And unlike some of the other squarer watches that I've reviewed, they've managed to get the tapering right here going into the watch band, so that the flow of the watch face into the watch band wraps around your wrist in a much more aesthetically pleasing manner. We have a very nice adjustable leather watch strap, a very easy peg system to get the fit just perfect with the supplied watch band, and a nice clicky action here with release pins here. That was definitely one of my complaints with the Gear watch band, is there's not a lot of positive response until you finally find the right action to click it into place. And then it can be a little awkward popping it back open again and again until you get exactly the right feel for it. Asus has definitely managed to design their way out of that problem with a nice positive clicking action and very easy release pins. And the watch band uses a standard 22mm pin set, so that you should be able to replace the watch band if you so choose. And I was really happy to see that they give us a little spring-loaded release arm right there, so we can easily pop the watch band off if we decide to change it. The watch build is stainless steel, and on the rear of the watch is where we'll find some charging pins for the included charging cradle. This is to improve water resistance, and Asus rates the watch IP55 dust and water resistant. Now, I do wish there was some sort of direct charging mechanism for the watch. Thankfully, the cradle does use micro USB, so even if you aren't near some sort of AC outlet, you can charge this off of some kind of portable battery solution. And you may have noticed there is no heart rate monitor built into the back of the ZenWatch, and we'll get to that in just a bit. There are, of course, no buttons on the front face. This is a common characteristic of Android Wear watches. Very simple tap and sliding gestures get you into Google Now style cards. This is the first Wear watch I've spent any significant time with. I'm still kind of getting used to the UI, but we can talk about some of the software here. Android Wear is very much built on the idea of Google Now. It serves you relevant information in the moment that it thinks you need it. So as you get notifications, as you get alerts, as you get updates for traffic, for mapping, for weather conditions, it's going to feed this information to your wrist as organically as it possibly can. And whenever you're done with a piece of information, a slide away, just like on your phone when you're using Google Now, will get rid of that card and move you on to the next piece of information. From your main watch face, scrolling up from the bottom of the screen will get you into your most recent notifications and cards. And if we go back to that watch screen, pulling down from the watch screen will get us into more controls and settings. On the ZenWatch, we start off with a mute, We can go into theater mode, which completely blacks out the screen and also minimizes the notification vibration. A sunlight mode is a short burst of brightness to help you overcome direct sunlight. And at the end, we've got additional settings. So we can tap in here, we can adjust brightness. I'm gonna take this up a little bit brighter for the review, actually. Bluetooth devices, what my watch is connected to, currently a Note 4. We can disable the always on screen. And now this makes the watch toggle a little bit more like a gear so that the watch face is typically off and then you have to shake your wrist around to turn it back on or tap the screen to turn it back on. I'm not a fan of disabling this because I find that gestures don't work as well if you're someone like me who likes to wear their watch on the inside of their wrist. We can activate an airplane mode to disable the Bluetooth. We can power the watch off. We can restart the watch. We can completely wipe and reset the device. We can also change the watch face here. Now, there's an accessibility menu, but the only option I have is to increase the size of text, which with my eyesight, the default is actually pretty good. More information about your watch, the name of the watch, current software version. I did run the update to Lollipop for Android Wear. See that it's connected, check your remaining battery life, and from here we can check to see if there are any system updates. And lastly, I have enabled developer options on this watch so that I can do things like take screenshots, though I really haven't run into too many situations where I've really wanted to do that. And from this main watch face, if we long press on the watch face, we get options to change that watch face. And as the ZenWatch uses an AMOLED screen, it's a 360 by 360 square AMOLED display, I found that I still do have some issues seeing this watch face in direct sunlight. So as a result, I have gone to a digital watch face with numbers on the screen. I was using one of these, I think it was Perfection, which is just a more standard analog chronograph style watch. But you can see when that screen dims, it's really hard just to get a sense of what the actual time is. And the second that you hit this thing with any kind of sunlight, these tiny little watch arms just completely disappear. So while I normally wouldn't wear something super bold in a digital watch face, like this Vigor watch face, for just a casual glance down at my wrist to see the time, you get some basic stats, see my steps, see how much battery life I have. This watch face has turned out to be one of my favorites so far, just for its simple, bold, big font. Tapping on the main screen is going to pull up your Google Now Speak options. And then from here, we can slide below to get into things like showing me my heart rate, settings, playing music, and then different voice actions that we can take with Android Wear. See how many steps I've taken, remind me, sending a text or sending an email. Okay, Google, what was the score of the last Denver Broncos game? Checking my agenda, navigating to a particular place, setting a timer, starting a stopwatch, setting an alarm, showing alarms, again playing music, and an additional way to get into settings the same way that we got from swiping from the top of the screen. And then at the bottom of this list, we have a little start icon where we can also load up other apps which have little applets that are compatible with Android Wear. The general idea is that you really want to get into using vocal commands with Android Wear as opposed to going through more traditional menus and app drawers like we have on other smartwatches. Okay, Google, start stopwatch. And in reviewing Android Wear a little bit more than I'm reviewing the ZenWatch, one of the other issues that I have with this software layout, once you slide something away, it's pretty much gone. So Sean Green commented on my video, I'm gonna slide that away, and now I can't go back to see where stuff was. There's no sort of archive or repository for past notifications. Slide away the weather, it's just gone. Slide away my stocks, they're just gone. It just dismissed a whole bunch of stuff, and now if I say I got a bunch of texts and a couple tweets all in a row, there's no way for me to go back through those except for me to just pull out my phone. Once you've cleared everything away from your watch, I kind of wish there was some sort of left screen wipe or bottom screen wipe that would just take you into past notifications. It's a feature that I really like on the Qualcomm Talk and the Samsung Gear, and I kind of wish I had it on the ZenWatch. Okay, Google, take a note. Remember to shoot a video detailing our upcoming smartphone contest. Now remember how I said there was not a heart rate monitor built into the bottom of the watch? There is one built into this watch, but it's sort of awkwardly built around this front face. So the metal running along this outer front face of the watch is actually what's used to conduct your heart rate. I have had mixed results with this heart rate monitor. So if I pull up, show me my heart rate, it says to touch gently and to sort of do a little V tap right there. Kind of keep still. And that's probably not really my heart rate, seeing as I'm sitting here and resting. Whereas if I move over to my Samsung Gear, which does have a heart rate monitor built into the back face of this watch, and let's run the test on this. Yeah, see, that's a much more reasonable resting heart rate for what I'm doing right now. With this front face solution on the ZenWatch, I think I've gotten accurate results maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 times. The very first time I actually used this feature, I kind of freaked my wife out. In the diagrams that come with the packaging, they say to tap right here on the bottom of the watch face. The watch actually does tell you to move to the sides, and this seems to be a bit more accurate. But the first time I fired it up, just touching down here at the bottom, it calculated my heart rate something insane, like 186 beats per minute while I was sitting in the backseat of a car on a long road trip. And that kind of freaked my wife out, and she thought I was about to have a stroke. As many of our smartwatches start doing double duty for things like fitness tracking, I can't say that I'm going to recommend the ZenWatch very highly for that type of usage. It's nice to have the feature in there, and you can kind of use it just to get a general sense of where you might be at, but I definitely wouldn't count on this solution to be as accurate as some of our more dedicated fitness tracking solutions have been on other watches and other smartbands. Okay, Google, remind me to pick up milk in 2 hours. Now we have the Android Wear software here where we can pick watch faces and find more watch faces. And then it also gives us a little handy chart on voice actions, what you can actually do from your watch, and then also suggested apps. We can go right into the Google Play Store to check out what other software and services are going to play nice between your phone and your Android Wear smartwatch. And if you've also enabled developer options on the watch, this is where you can take a screenshot. So you pull up whatever you want to take a screenshot of, and then you tap from your phone, take wearable screenshot. It's going to send a request to the watch face, and then it's going to come back to the phone to see, let's see, wearable screenshot finish, touch to send. It's a handy little way to get an image off of your watch if you so choose. Now, Asus has also packed on their own watch manager, the ZenWatch Manager. And from here we get similar information from what we get on the Android Wear app. But from here we also get some of the additional features that Asus is including with this watch. So you can do things like unlock my phone. Now, anytime I have this watch within close proximity of my phone, I no longer have to put in a pattern unlock or a passcode to get directly to my home screens. Now, the cover to mute, you cover the watch with your hand, and I think it's also using these little capacitive sensors built into the sides of the watch face. That's to mute ringtones, mute calls. I think it's a cute feature, but considering how easy it is just to end a phone call from your watch, I think that's a little bit easier to do. We can do a find my watch. And it's just going to keep vibrating the watch until you swipe to dismiss. I don't know how you're supposed to swipe that to dismiss it. It seemed to work in the opposite direction and then slid off in the right direction. And we also have a leash feature through the ZenWatch Manager, forgot phone warning. So if your watch leaves the proximity of Bluetooth and it disconnects from your phone, it'll send an alert saying to your watch that you have left your phone behind. And some additional tools, we do have a compass that we can fire up, and we can start the compass from our phone and see it flick on the watch, which is pretty handy. I mean, especially if you're just sort of out and about, you want to find where north is. And we also have a little flashlight. So we can start the flashlight, and we can swipe up or down to change the color. It's just maybe a little handy extra illumination if we want. It's kind of just wigging out and doing a whole bunch of different colors. Oh, there we go. So let's say we just, no, I don't want flashing ZenWatch. No, stop it. Here, let me come back all the way through all of these. Yeah, I don't know how that works, and the swiping seems to wig out. The only color that apparently doesn't freak out on this watch for me right now is red. It'll do pulses, it'll do a solid light, if you can figure out how to navigate around that, but we're gonna close the flashlight now. We also have an SOS feature, so we can select an emergency contact, and using this feature, we can very easily send a call for help. You'll use the watch to send a signal to your phone, which will then send directly to whoever you've listed as an emergency contact. I always think features like that are kind of nice, and especially as they're working their way organically into our watches and phones. And lastly, Asus has packed on another feature called remote camera, which opens up a custom camera app on your phone. We're gonna tap that to open it now. So this doesn't use your stock camera, but it will send what your camera is seeing to your watch. So you can use this to set up some kind of, here, I'll even look directly into the camera. So you can use this to set up some kind of, say if you put your phone on a tripod or you have it kind of cradled up, you want to take a group shot or a family shot using the nice camera on your phone, you can set this up, you can then mount it, and then from your watch, you can make sure you've got the shot lined up the way that you want it. And whenever you want to take the picture, you just tap on the screen and it's gonna take a focus. Is it working? And then it takes the picture. So the only issue you're gonna run into with something like this is the fact that it's having to transmit this information over Bluetooth, which isn't the fastest wireless data protocol, and also not the rangiest. So you have to make sure that you can get that photo within 30 feet of your phone. Now, battery life has actually been better than I thought it would be. There were all those initial reports of Android Wear barely lasting the day on a single charge, with the screen always on, but usually set to one of the dimmer, either setting 1 or setting 2 in terms of brightness control. I will typically pull this watch off of its charging cradle at around 8 a.m. and it'll routinely last me through midnight with moderate use. That's mostly just tracking notifications, doing the occasional search, and then replying to a lot of text messages. As you get into more advanced usage, especially any apps that are going to keep this screen on longer, you'll notice that battery life drains a lot faster. Especially walking around New York City and doing some basic navigation, I did need to top off this watch after dinner. It was around 8 o'clock at night, and thankfully I did have the charge cradle and a spare battery to plug it into. For as much as I like this watch's design, aesthetic, and experience, I really do hope that we'll find some other more exotic screen technologies like Mirasol or maybe some kind of color paper display that will give us even longer battery runtime by not needing to power backlit or AMOLED displays. Still, the 360 milliamp hour battery in this watch is doing a pretty decent job of getting me through the day as long as I don't hit it too hard. Okay, Google. How far away is the Earth from the Sun? Lastly, we just have to talk about price, and I think Asus has nailed the price point at $199 for this build quality and this design. This is not an all-rounder watch. If you're looking at your smartwatch to be both a smartwatch, a timepiece, notification, applets, and a fitness tracker, I can't say I'm going to recommend this smartwatch. It really does seem to fall down a little bit on the fitness tracking duties. But being that it is one of the more attractive watches in the Android Wear arsenal, the fact that it's undercutting the Moto 360 by around $50 still, I think it's an excellent option for those of us shopping something stylish, shopping something fashionable, customizable to a certain degree. And I really have to say, I think Asus is beating Apple at their own game right now, which is gonna undercut the Apple Watch by at least $150 by the time the Apple Watch comes out. It's of course not out at the time that this video was shot. And you know how I am about competition. I always like having more options. So those of you on Android looking to play with an Android Wear watch, I would definitely recommend checking one of these things out. And of course, I'll leave some links down below this video so you can get more information, and also where to shop the Asus ZenWatch. As always, folks, thanks so much for watching, and be sure to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos and reviews like these. And I would not be able to continue producing these reviews if you all weren't out there sharing them with your family, friends, and on social media. So keep bringing more cool people to the party, because I've got some fun stuff coming up, and I think you're really gonna dig it. So hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review.